Welcome back to the podcast.
We have a great show for you today.
So picture this. It is 6:30 in the morning. My alarm goes off. The room is freezing cold, but my bed is so warm.
Oh, I know this story.
Right? And my phone is sitting right there on the table. I just reach out to turn off the alarm and boom. Suddenly it's 45 minutes later and I am watching videos of dogs on skateboards.
Laughs. Every single time. Have you ever felt that? Yeah, me too. It happens to all of us.
Exactly. It is the ultimate morning fail. But let's get into it. Welcome to The Debate. Today we are looking at a huge question. Why can the exact same person either win their morning or lose an hour just looking at their phone in bed?
Yeah. The room is the same, the bed is the same, but the result is completely different.
Exactly. Today we are tearing apart the rules of self-discipline. We are looking at how people actually make good choices for their future, even when our brains just want to be lazy right now.
It is a great topic. The book we are looking at today goes deep into habits. It looks at the war inside us, the war between the present self, who just wants to stay under the warm blankets, and the future self, who wants to get things done.
Right. And we are looking at the difference between motivation, which is just a feeling, and discipline, which is a real choice. But looking at this book brings us to our big argument today.
Yes, the core disagreement.
Here it is. Is the best way to build self-discipline an outside process where we change our rooms and our habits? Or is it an inside process about how we think and talk to ourselves? I will argue that self-discipline is all about the outside environment. You have to change your physical space.
And I will say that relying on your room is a bad idea. I argue that real discipline starts in your mind. Without the right thinking, any physical trick will just break.
Okay, let's start with our main ideas. When we look at the science, the biggest rule is about making things easy. You have to build your room to make the good choice the easy choice.
Sure, but
Wait, let me finish this thought. The truth is, the human brain is a machine that wants to save energy. It wants to rest. If we just try to use our minds to fight that biological rule every day, we will lose. So you have to change the outside world.
That is an interesting idea, but I come at it from a different way. Yes, the brain wants to save energy, but humans are not simple machines. We think, we feel.
I mean, I see why you think that, but let me tell you how strong the physical world really is. Let's look at the bank account report card.
Oh, I like this.
Right? So your willpower is like money in a bank. Every time you fight a bad choice, you spend money. By the end of the day, your report card says 0. You have no money left.
Right, you are tired.
Exactly. So what works? Physical changes. You put the book on the desk, not in a drawer. You put your phone in a totally different room. You don't fight your thoughts. You just put the phone far away.
I hear you. But putting your phone in another room is, well, it's just a trick. It doesn't work if your brain is still scared of the work. You will just find another way to waste time. You will suddenly decide, oh, I need to clean the kitchen right now.
Laughs. True. The kitchen suddenly looks very dirty.
Exactly. The book introduces a great idea. You have to act like a gentle parent to your own brain.
A gentle parent?
Yes, it means talking to yourself kindly. To stop bad habits, you need a shift in your self-talk. It is the ability to calm your own nerves.
But calming your nerves doesn't stop you like a closed door does. If the phone is not there, you just cannot look at it.
I disagree, because you are missing the root problem. Willpower isn't a wall, it is an inner coach. When people fail, it is usually a mental crash. This book says we must stop saying things like, I failed, I am lazy. We have to say, I missed today, I will try again. That internal forgiveness is the real engine.
Well, this brings us to our first big point. The environment versus the will. Motivation is a lie. It is that January 1st feeling that always goes away. Willpower is tied to your energy. If you rely on willpower to fight a bad environment, it is like trying to hold a door closed against a river. Eventually, your arms get tired.
Yeah, but
If I have candy on my desk, my brain has to fight it all day. If I throw the candy in the trash, the fight is over.
I come at it from a different way. You cannot control everything around you. We do not live in a perfect box. Think about the classic late night fight. It is midnight. You are tired. You're watching a TV show. It is so easy to watch one more episode.
Too easy.
Right. The environment is the same. The bed is there. The TV is there. You cannot change the room in that exact second. The good choice relies purely on cognitive reappraisal.
Wait, that's a fancy word. It basically just means changing how you think about a situation, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you. It just means you change your view. You have to realize that saving your energy for tomorrow is better than watching one more episode tonight. That is a smart thought. It has nothing to do with putting the TV in another room.
But if it is all about your thoughts, why does the book say we should change our room first? They tell us to use apps that block our phones. The midnight TV problem is exactly why people fail, because the physical effort is zero. Trying to think smart at midnight when your brain is totally tired is a bad plan.
They fail because their inner voice is weak. Temptation is not a TV. Temptation is a feeling. It is the feeling of wanting comfort. You cannot run away from every comfortable thing in the world. At some point, the urge hits, and the only tool you have is your mind.
Okay, let's move to our second big point, starting a task. Let's say the room is perfect. No phone, quiet room. Why do people still stare at a blank computer screen for 20 minutes?
Because they are scared.
Well, the book says to start very small. If you want to write a big report, just do 5 minutes. To me, this is an outside physical trick. You make the time so small that your brain says, oh, 5 minutes? That's nothing. You start because the hurdle is low.
It is a good argument. But what is really happening inside your head during that 5-minute rule? You call it a trick. I call it the gentle parent talking to the amygdala.
Wait, that's a fancy word, too. It basically just means the fear center in your brain.
Exactly. Procrastination is not laziness. It happens because your brain sees the work as a threat.
Wait, a threat? I can understand feeling tired, but calling a spreadsheet a threat is a bit much. It's not a tiger.
It sounds funny, I know, but to your brain, feeling bad or failing feels like physical danger. So that 5-minute rule, it is the gentle parent saying, I know you are scared, but let's just try this for 5 tiny minutes. It is safe.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because, well, the gentle parent is just a cute story we tell ourselves. The rule works because of the math. 5 minutes is short. I will work for 5 minutes and then I can stop. That is a hard rule. Once you start, you usually keep going for an hour. The rule forces you to start.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. Think about an angry email you have to send. It takes 2 minutes to type. The math is small, but people put it off for 4 days. Why?
Because they hate conflict.
Exactly. The block is emotional, not physical. The 2-minute rule fails if you don't calm yourself down first and say, we can handle this.
Okay, that is a fair point about emotions. But let's look at our third point, handling failure and building consistency. I argue that good habits are built by stacking them together.
Habit stacking.
Right. You wake up, you drink water, you read a book. Action A triggers action B. Once this is built, you don't even have to think about it. The system just carries you.
Systems are great in a perfect world, but life is messy. You get sick, you have a bad day, the system breaks. And when your perfect system breaks, what happens? Total collapse. This leads to all or nothing thinking.
Ah, yes. The voice that says, I didn't read on Tuesday, so my whole week is ruined.
Yes, and a physical system cannot fight that voice. If you only care about your perfect routine, breaking it feels like a disaster. The only rescue is forgiveness. Real discipline is not about being perfect. It is about having the kindness to try again. When you yell at yourself, you feel shame. Shame kills your energy. But if you say, okay, today was bad, but I can make a good choice right now, you survive.
I hear that. I agree that shame is bad. Shame ruins your motivation. But how do you actually rebuild? You don't rebuild a habit by just sitting there and thinking nice thoughts.
Well, no.
You rebuild by putting your running shoes back by the door. If you miss a day, the answer is to go back to the physical steps. If you don't fix the room, all the nice thoughts in the world won't get you out of bed at 6 a.m.
But the nice thoughts are exactly why you put the shoes back by the door. If you are angry, you throw the shoes in the closet. Changing your thoughts gives you the power to try again. Discipline is a bunch of actions, yes, but those actions start in your story about yourself.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We have looked at self-discipline from two very different sides. My position is that the best way to win is to change the outside world. We must build our rooms to remove bad choices. We put the phone away, we set short times, and we link habits together. Don't wait to feel ready. Just build the track, and the train will run.
And I say that the best track in the world is useless if the train has no power. Without a kind, strong inner voice, those systems will break when life gets hard. Discipline is a mental muscle.
But even though we disagree on the main tool, we definitely agree on one big thing. Motivation is not discipline.
Completely. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It leaves when things get hard. Discipline is a real, steady choice.
It is the choice to pick your future over your comfort right now. All right, it is time for our word tour. We are going to do a very slow, clear recap of 5 important words from today.
Let's do it. Word number 1, discipline, making a steady choice for your long-term goals.
Word number 2, environment, the physical room and objects around you.
Word number 3, habit, a regular action you do almost without thinking.
Word number 4, willpower, your brain's inner coach fighting for good choices.
And word number 5, compassion, being kind and forgiving to yourself when you fail.
Great list. We think it's important to understand both the physical tools and the mental tools. So we won't say who won today. You should check out the book and decide for yourself.
Because the real work happens in your own life.
Exactly. Tomorrow morning, that alarm is going to ring. The bed will be warm. The room will be cold. How will you arrange your room tonight? And what will you say to yourself tomorrow when it is time to wake up?
The choice is yours.
Thank you for joining us on The Debate.